Last night, Studio Studios released an hour-long Five Nights at Freddy's Spooky Halloween ambiance video. And as any theorist would, of course we have to dissect this video second by second, as believe it or not, this video does contain lore that I think can act as the very first teaser for the next FNAF game. So my name is Bronze Films, and join me as I go over all of the lore that came from this video and what it means for the future of the franchise and timeline. So please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and let's get started. Right away when taking a look, this video seems to take place in the exact same setting or location as the FNAF Help Wanted Dreadbear DLC. We see the exact same red moon, green sky, and Halloween aesthetic. We also see characters from the DLC that I'll get back to soon. But this could mean that this takes place in the same Fall Fest carnival we learned about in that DLC, Fall Fest 1983. But because we see characters from much later on in the timeline, I don't think this is exactly in 1983, and this is just an idea I'm throwing out there. Front and center we find a grave, an axe, pumpkins, and a Weather Chica carved pumpkin. And now we can look at all the Easter eggs and lore. To no one's surprise, the Dreadbear can actually show up in two different ways. During these timestamps, lightning will strike the grave, causing Dreadbear's hand to pop out of the ground in a sort of reanimated moment. In these timestamps, a giant Dreadbear will appear in the background for a few seconds before walking off in the distance. Another character from the Dreadbear DLC who shows up is Grim Foxy during these timestamps. He'll also appear in the background before abruptly running off frame. From here, we definitely see a pattern of what animatronics show up, as they're all from FNAF Security Breach and Ruin. We first see Ruin Monty jump over the fence and run towards the camera at 15 minutes and 7 seconds. Roxy can appear on top of the windmill howling at the moon before jumping down and then disappearing. One of the more frequent appearances is Ruin and Glamrock Freddy appearing behind the grave at these timestamps, but in a design we haven't seen before. In Ruin, Freddy is missing his head, and here he keeps the same design, but now he does have his head. His eyes are also glowing green, similar to Dreadbear, as people are now calling him Frankenstein Freddy. His design is the most similar to the Freddy we saw in one of the very first teaser arts for Ruin, where he still has his shattered look and keeps his head. We also get a set of shadows that appear for a split second whenever there's a lightning strike, with some being more obvious to who they are than others. We find Roxy's shadow, which is her second appearance, and we also find Moon's shadow. Now I personally believe it's Jack-O-Moon from the Carousel minigame in FNAF Help Wanted 2. This level most likely takes place at Fall Fest, just like the Dreadbear DLC, which is where this video also seems to take place. So it just makes the most sense that it's Jack-O-Moon instead of just Moon. Lastly, we also find this shadow, which is much harder to tell who it is, and I've seen a couple of different interpretations from different people. The first option is that it's Ruin Chica, which would fit the theme since we've already seen the other Glamrocks throughout the video. I've also seen some argue that it's Dolly from FNAF's Secret of the Mimic. To me, this is the least likely option since the selection would feel random in a sense that it wouldn't feel on theme. She just has the least correlation to Fall Fest and to the other Ruin characters. The third option that I believe in is that it's the Mimic in the lion suit from the Scooper ending. The head matches the design of the lion mascot, and this large hand is also very similar to the Mimic's exposed right endoskeleton hand. It has the same amount of fingers, and overall the shapes are very similar as well. The Mimic does match the Ruin character theme, and this would be the first time we've seen this version of the Mimic since Ruin. I'll get back to what this could all mean soon, so for now, moving on, the last thing we find is Glamrock Chica's loose hand running across the screen before moving off frame. This is another piece of the Glamrocks that once again fits the theme. But moving on, I also want to talk about the music that plays throughout the hour, since I also think they matter. 5 different soundtracks from the franchise will play, with 3 of them being slightly different from the originals. The video starts with Balore's gallery music titled Crumbling Dreams, then Gracefully Into the Abyss starts playing from FNAF Help Wanted 2, and I'll come back to this one soon. But the next 3 soundtracks all come from FNAF Sister Location and are slightly different. We have Forbidden Nocturne, Vent to Black, and Demolition Inevitable. Notice a pattern, 4 out of the 5 tracks are from Sister Location, telling us that it has some importance with this video and possibly with the next FNAF game. But the last track might have already given us our first look into the next game that will most likely have Abyss in its title. Over the past couple of weeks, we've gotten teasers to what looks like to be Ruin 2. One of the main composers responsible for the incredible FNAF music, Leon Riskin, posted this teaser for an upcoming project named Forgotten Names and Faces, with the tags reading, "Who will catch you when you fall into the abyss?" This also included brand new music, so take a listen. If it sounds familiar, that's because it has the same melody from Gracefully Into the Abyss from FNAF Help Wanted 2. It appears that this new project is an upcoming game in the FNAF franchise, as the acronym for Forgotten Names and Faces spells out FNAF. And both songs seem to be centered around Princess Quest with the word Abyss in both of them. This has led many to title the new FNAF game FNAF Abyss or FNAF Into the Abyss. He also posted this teaser of an excerpt of the poem Abyss by Tom Woodliff that reads, "In the deepest, darkest depths of my despair, I find myself without a saving grace. A pendulum of pain prevents my prayer from rising upward through the dead of space." Mentioning the Abyss once more seems to point to the same FNAF project. And most recently, he posted a song titled Fixing Elevators with the caption, "Elevators can't be trusted, take the stairs." The tags on the post also spell out Betty Lou Oliver, a person who holds the world record for surviving the longest elevator fall. All of this just screams Cassie and her fate at the end of the Ruin DLC. She tries to take the elevator to escape the Mimic, but either the Mimic or Gregory cuts the elevator, making her fall to her supposed death. But with these teasers, they suggest that she actually survived and that the next game will be FNAF Ruin 2, meaning Cassie is still down in the sinkhole alone with the Mimic. So using this information, we can now use what LOREE found from the video I was just talking about to build a better idea of what the story for this game would look like, as one of the ways we know they're even connected are through their music. Remember the soundtrack from FNAF Help Wanted 2 that is being teased? Well, it's the same music we hear towards the beginning of this video, which just can't be a coincidence. Because we see the ruined animatronics throughout the video, we can assume they will also be making a return. Especially characters like Glamrock Freddy, who is highlighted to be fixed and might even be a threat towards Cassie. Assuming that this shadow is the Mimic in the lion costume, this would also 100% confirm that he'll of course be the main antagonist and that the Scooper ending might also have some role as well. Now I don't think this ending is canon, just because the teasers are telling us that the bad ending is canon instead, like we've all speculated. But maybe this is telling us that the Mimic will be wearing the lion costume, or that he'll be switching between the mascots we find in this room like he does in Secret of the Mimic. This new game could also have some connection to Fall Fest. Whether or not Secret of the Mimic was going to get a DLC that takes place in Fall Fest, or that we're going to get an entire game for this event has recently been debated. But now that we basically have confirmation that the next game is Ruin 2, I still think Fall Fest will have some role, especially after this new video where we also see Dreadbear and Grim Foxy. A lot was left unanswered about Fall Fest and Secret of the Mimic. We know there was a fire that most likely killed Fiona, and that maybe William Afton was responsible for that fire, but besides that we still know nothing about Fall Fest. And now with FNAF Abyss, it can either tell us what happened with the lore and Easter eggs, or we can actually travel to Fall Fest if the Mimic is somehow able to escape, having the last part of this game take place outside of the sinkhole. Not only can we predict Fall Fest will have some role, but based on the themes, Princess Quest and Sister Location will also have some role. Princess Quest was finished in Help Wanted 2, but we can still definitely see it return in some way, and it could act as the moon.exe for this new game. With Sister Location, this could be connected to the caves or to the Scooper room. I've made a few videos covering how the Pizzaplex was built over MCM, and in a recent video I went over how the MCM tunnels were remodeled into the Sister Location bunker by William, meaning these caves would line up with the same bunker, which could explain why we see the scooper that was also used when Michael was scooped. Now this is all just speculation, but it's almost certain that Sister Location will have some role with this project. However, I do want to emphasize this video is just a theory. This new project could be a Fall Fest game or even a Help Wanted 2 DLC. But using the information from the teasers and from this new video, I do think we're getting FNAF Ruin 2 that will act as one of the lore heaviest games from the franchise yet. With some of the lore Easter eggs that we got, I did use my own interpretation, which by no means is 100% right. Especially with this shadow that can easily just be Ruin Chica, or with the moon shadow that isn't Jackal Moon. In a sense, we really don't know what this video is trying to tell us, but I do think there is a greater meaning in classic FNAF fashion. This video is also less than a day old, so comment down below if I got anything wrong or if I missed anything. I also want to give credit to this comment who helped me find so many things from this video on top of trying to watch it on my own. So with all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and all of the new lore revealed from this new Steelwood video that might be setting up the next Five Nights at Freddy's project. Make sure to comment down below any thoughts or theories, as I love reading through all of your different thoughts. But please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and I really do appreciate all the support on the channel.